Okay, PreCalc, here is the video of me going through the exercises in your notes for 9-3, day 1. So, I'm going to jump right into exercise 5 and exercise 17 right away. So, exercise 5 wants you to determine whether this sequence is geometric, and if so, find the common ratio. And the sequence is this. It's like 2, 10, 50, then 250. So that's the sequence. If you want to figure out if a sequence is geometric, you need to look for a common ratio. To look for a common ratio, you look at two terms. Look at the first and the second, that works fine. Divide the second term by the first term, what do you get? 5. Now, look at it for the second two terms, so 10 and 50. Divide 50 by 10, what do you get? 5. And if you want to be completely sure, look at 250 and 50. So you do 250 divided by 50, and same thing there, you get 5. So when you see this common ratio pop up over and over, you know you've got a geometric sequence. So we know we have a geometric sequence, and our common ratio is 5. So, and you could just label that, as like R equals 5 or something like that. That works just fine. So that's basically exercise 5. Before I go on to exercise 17, I just want to make sure I copy the formula for the nth term of a geometric sequence. You'll want to make sure that you're reading and doing your notes and things like that, so you have this, but I'm going to copy it here so we can reference it. It's A1, the first term, times R, the common ratio, to the n minus 1 power. That's the formula for the nth term of a geometric sequence. We'll need that as we go forward. So exercise 17 wants us to find the first 5 terms of the geometric sequence. So in 17, it tells us the first term of our sequence is 4, and it tells us our common ratio is 3, I believe. I'm going to check that one more time. Yes, so our common ratio is 3. So what that means for us is that our formula for the nth term of the sequence is equal to A1, which is 4, times R, our common ratio, 3, to the n minus 1 power. So we want to find the first 5 terms of the sequence. Let's calculate the second term. So A sub 2 is equal to 4 times 3 to the 2 minus 1, so 2 minus 1, which is just the first power. 4 times 3 is 12. For our third term, it would be 4 times 3 to the, instead of 2 times 1, it's 3 minus 1. So it's 4 times 3 squared. It's like 4 times 9 is equal to 36. So thus far for our terms, we've got 4, we've got 12, we've got 36. Keep calculating away. It wants us to find the fourth term. We'll do A1, 4 times our common ratio to the 4 minus 1 power, or the third power. So that's equal to 4 times 27, which would be 108, I believe. And I kind of ran out of space here, but you can calculate the fifth term on your own. Again, you're just using the formula for the nth term of the geometric sequence. So, should be relatively straightforward. Okay, I'm going to move on to exercise 45. In 45, it wants you to find the indicated nth term of the geometric sequence. And it wants you to find the 9th term of this sequence. The sequence goes 11, 33, 99, it wants you to find the 9th term. So we want to find a sub 9 eventually. Okay, so if we want to use our formula for the nth term of geometric sequence, we need to figure out what the common ratio is. And if you remember from that first problem, to find the common ratio, just divide any two successive terms. So it could be 11 and 33, it could be, 33 and 99, but just make sure that they're successive terms. You don't want to divide 99 by 11, that won't give you the common ratio. So let's do 33 divided by 11, it's equal to 3. Okay, so our common ratio is 3. Now we can set up our formula for the nth term. So a sub n is equal to a sub 1. A sub 1 is 11. So 11 times our common ratio is 3 to the n minus 1th term. So now we're in a good place to calculate a sub 9. We just need to plug that in to our formula. So it's 11 times 3 to the 8th power. Throw that into your calculator and you'll get, I believe that, yes, 72,171. So the whole game there is just find the common ratio first, then set up your formula, then calculate your term. Okay, exercise 53. Exercise 53, it's in the same category. It wants you to find the indicated nth term of the geometric sequence. This time it wants you to find the 6th term. So actually at this point I'm going to erase what we have here and then I'm going to scroll down a little bit. That didn't work. If at any point you don't want me to erase something or anything like that, just pause the video. Okay, so it wants us to find the sixth term. So I'm going to say a sub 6 down here. That's our goal. The 6th term of the sequence, whose 4th term is negative 18. So a sub 4 is negative 18, and whose 7th term is 2/3. This one's kind of different because it doesn't list out the terms and it doesn't give us successive terms. So we have to figure out the common ratio in kind of a different way. So the way we figure out the common ratio is, and you'll see this if you read example 5, is to think about how many times do you have to multiply, how many times do you need to multiply a4 by the common ratio to make it equal to a sub 7. So remember, for every term in a geometric sequence, to get to the next term, you just multiply by the common ratio. So if you want to know a5, you just multiply a sub 4 times the common ratio. Well, to get from a sub 4 to a sub 7, you need to multiply by the common ratio 3 times, actually. So, to solve for our common ratio now, we just plug in the terms that we know. So we know that negative 18 is a4 times r cubed is equal to a sub 7, which is 2/3. Now we're just solving for our common ratio. So if you divide by negative 18 on both sides, you'll get r cubed is equal to negative 1/27th. And you can simplify that on your own to see that. And then to solve for r, you take the cubed root of both sides. So negative cubed root of negative 127, and the cubed root of negative 127 is negative 1/3. Okay, so now we have our common ratio. Here's the only trouble. Normally for our formula for the a sub nth term of a geometric series, we need to know a sub 1. In this case, we don't know a sub 1. So
you could solve for a sub 1 if you want to, but it's not necessarily the easiest way. The easiest way I find to think about it is that to get from a sub 4 to a sub 6, you need only multiply by the common ratio 2 times. So r squared. So I find that it's easier to just take your a sub 4, negative 18, and multiply by the common ratio, negative 1/3, 2 times to get what a sub 6 is. And if you calculate that out, it's negative 18 times 1/9. And that gives you an answer of negative 2. So your a sub 6 term is negative 2. Okay, yeah, so just make sure you were doing the reading and filling in the gaps there, or else, that none of that would have made any sense. And I hope these, walking through these exercises helped you to make sense of a couple of them. I know geometric sequences can be a little bit tricky at first, but you will get used to them. All right, we'll see you in class.